Shalom, shalom. Shalom, ma shalomech. I hope everyone's fine. I hope everyone is protected, doing whatever we can to be safe during the strange days. We're back to our lecture, Mi צריך את זה, an intriguing title, I must add. The question, Mi צריך את זה, who needs it? Who needs war? Ma, בית המקדש. Who needs the temple? It has been a couple of thousand years since the last time we had the temple. So much has happened since the last time. Since this picture, the picture I chose to illustrate our cover, it depicts the last day of the temple when everything is getting burned, everything is destroyed, people are murdered, things are stolen. And the question, who needs the temple, Mr. is intriguing because would you know to do? Would you know what to do if we had the temple today? When we have 1 hour to Tisha B'Av, we're getting things ready because we're gonna eat later, and we always say there's still 1 hour for the temple to be rebuilt. We still have 1 hour for the temple to be rebuilt. This is a kind of faith. This is a kind of uh, emunah, an emunah shelema, a complete faith, a perfect faith. The kind of faith that says we still have half an hour, we still have 1 hour, so the temple can be miraculously rebuilt in our days. But then the question arises, okay, if the temple is built today in this hour left, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I admire that in this picture there is in the corner there is someone alone or with the head over the wall of the furnace, just like we do today with the on the western wall of the temple. The same way we do today, praying. This person was there, probably praying for the decay of the temple. And it says Beit Mikdash because this is how we find it in the Gemara in Talmud. So that's why it's not uh, like the older name, just Beit Mikdash. Okay. So we read from the Torah. This is the way we generally start our studies with the text from the Torah. ועשו לי מקדש ושכנתי בתוכם. And we saw, we studied the text, we see all the how it starts and the reason for betoch, the reason for the Shekhinah to be amidst the people at the center of the Ohel. Ohel is the camp. We generally say Ohel Yaakov, the camp of Yaakov. You remember Matovu, someone who is a tzaddik, a tzadika, a man or a woman, before entering the Beit Knesset, the synagogue says Matovu, Matovu, Ohayaha Hashem, משכנותיך ישראל, ואכני בתוך קבריך, משתחווים אל היכל קדשך. משתחווים אל היכל קדשך. So I prostrate myself, משתחווים אל היכל, towards the היכל, the palace, קדשך, of your holiness. And this is truly the idea of having the Mishkan, the tabernacle, at the center of the camp. So the Mishnah, the Shekinah could be at the center of the people's lives. Then I wrote, לפני שאנחנו נכנסים לסוגיה. So before we enter the subject, the matter, הנה קטע קצר מספר חגי. So here we have a brief extract from Sefer Haggai, Haggai Hanavi. That's why we have the statue of Haggai Hanavi. And we saw the first part of the first verse of Haggai. בשנת שתיים, sorry, before we read, there are a number of pictures from those prophets. Those pictures do not follow the regular Christian depiction of those characters. For example, we have these people have more dark complexes and hair, like in this picture, for instance. So they don't seem European as in the Christian depiction. Okay, so back to the text. In the first chapter, in the first verse of Haggai, they say, Bishnat Shetaim, Bishnat Shetaim. So in the second year, I will not analyze the text again. You have a whole class for that. But Bishnat Shetaim, לדריוש המלך בחודש השישי ביום אחד לחודש היה דבר השם ביד חגי הנביא. Okay? So, בשנת שתיים, in the second year, לדריוש, of Darius המלך, the king Darius, בחודש השישי, on the 6th month, ביום אחד לחודש, on the first day of the month, היה דבר השם, the word of Hashem, the davar of Hashem, the thing of Hashem, came beyad Haggai Hanavi, by the hand of Haggai the prophet. And since we have a few numbers on that sentence, then we study Sefirot Leviot, the Hebrew letters, the Hebrew numbers. I'm so sorry. On your right, we have the feminine, and on your left, you have the masculine for the numbers. So achat, ehad, shtayim, shnayim, shalosh, shalosha, arba, arbaya, chamesh, hamisha, shesh, shisha, sheva, shiva, sheva, shiva, shemone, shemona, tesha, tisha, eser, asra. Okay? So feminine and masculine. Let's move on. The first verse continues. Like that was the first part, so I divided it so we could study the numbers and we could study the first information we got from this text. But the text continues, and this is actually the most important part of the first verse. So Haggai Aleph Aleph, Pirkei Aleph, Mishnah Aleph. Chapter 1, verse 1 of Sefer Haggai, the book of Haggai Hanavi, the prophet. So, El, remember, Haya Devar Hashem Beyad Haggai Navi. So the word of Hashem came by means of Haggai, or by the hand of Haggai, because of Haggai. To whom? That's why we have El. To. El, as you know, means to. So it came from Hashem to whom? To Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel. Our Achim, our brothers and sisters, Haver, Haverot, they are Ashkenazim, they generally say Zerubbabel, Zerubbabel, Zerubbabel. But we have the sign of there, so we know that the proper way of reading this name is Zerubbabel. The stress is at the end of the name. So Zerubbabel. As you know, Babel is Babylon. Zerubbabel. And who is Zerubbabel? He is the son ben Shaltiel. So Zerubbabel ben Shaltiel. Shaltiel. And who is Zerubbabel? Zerubbabel is the Pahat Yehuda. Pahat Yehuda. Yehuda is the northern kingdom. The kingdom of Israel, Medinat Israel, was divided between the kingdom in the north and the kingdom by south. The kingdom in the north is called Yehuda because it comes from Ohel Yehuda, from the tribe of Yehuda. And underneath it, I mean, not underneath it, but downwards, we have the kingdom of Israel, Malkut Israel. Pahat Yehuda, so we have construct absolute. Pahat actually comes from Fecha, Fecha, Fecha. Fecha means governor. So he's the governor. Zerubbabel, see, in modern Hebrew, generally we say Zerubbabel, but in biblical Hebrew, Mishnaic Hebrew, we say Zerubbabel. So Zerubbabel was the Pahat Yehuda, the governor of Yehuda. So the oath of Hashem, the Davar of Hashem, came to Zerubbabel, but not solely, because Ve'el. So Davar Hashem, Haya Davar Hashem Beyad Haggai Hanavi. The Davar of Hashem came by the hand of Haggai Hanavi to Zerubbabel and to Ve'el Yoshua. Yehoshua. By the time of the last prophets, actually after the days of Esdras and Nehemiah, you see a number of people named Yehoshua and Yeshua. There was this oath going around for a few generations by the time we get to the text in the Tanakh. The name of the Mashiach would be Yeshua, or in Hebrew, Yehoshua. Yehoshua. So what happens? The mothers, they start to give when they had the baby, they would name the baby Yeshua or Yehoshua, because they wanted their kid to be the next, the proper Mashiach, naturally. So that's why we have a rise in the usage of this name. So the oath of Hashem came to Zerubbabel, but also came to Yehoshua. And who is Yehoshua? Yehoshua ben Yehosadak. 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 And who is Yehosadak? A Kohen Gadol. So we're dealing with important people here. Yehosadak, and you see Yod Hed He Vav. This is the name of Hashem. And then you have Sadak. So he's the righteous of Hashem. That's his name. Yehu Sadak. He's the righteous. He's the Sadiq of Hashem. And who is Yehu Sadak? He's a Kohen Gadol. He's the high priest. A Kohen Agadol. So the Haya Devar Hashem Beyad Hagai Navi El Zerubbabel Ve'el Yehoshua. So the oath of Hashem came from these two people, Lemor. And then you're going to see later what it says. But in the picture, supposedly, and this is the idea, you have both uh, Zerubbabel, and Yehoshua talking. Ko, ko. This is an adverb not so used in the Torah, but most often in the Tanakh. So that's why I put that in your vocabulary list. Ko, thus, Amar Hashem Sevaot, Lemor, Am hazeh amru lo et bo et beit Adonai lehibanot. Let's see one by one. Ko, so this is the adverb. Thus, Amar Hashem Sevaot. In in Neviut, in Neviut, in the matter of Neviah, of prophecy, every time we have the title Adonai Sevaot, we are dealing with with topics for the future. In Neviut, in prophecy, when you have the title Hashem Sevaot, Adonai Sevaot, we are dealing with matters for the future. The concept of time as, as a fabric demands a powerful force for it to be managed and manipulated and for something to happen in due course in history. Therefore, if you're dealing with a God that is powerful enough to promise something for the future, to do something in the future, then we are dealing with a strong God. And what is the title of Hashem that demands admiration due to its power? Adonai Sevaot. Adonai Sevaot in Kabbalah is a name related to a force able to maintain a promise due history. So we're talking about the rebuilding of the temple. We cannot be dealing with Elohim, for instance, or El Shaddai, but we deal with Hashem Sevaot. When the text they refer to the higher Gan Eden, they also refer to Hashem Sevaot. Sevaot. So Ko Amah Hashem Sevaot Lemor. Thus, Amar, this is the verb, and generally my your subject comes right after the verb. So let's find the verb, thus finding the subject of your verb. So what is my verb? Amar. He spoke. And who spoke? Hashem Sevaot. That's my subject. And what did he do? Lemor, saying. Amazeh, amazeh. So, azeh, demonstrative pronoun, masculine. Ham, the people. So which people? This people. Hamazeh, this people. Amru, amru. Remember katal. Katalti, I killed. And so forth. until we have katal, which is the third person masculine, singular in the past. So katalti, I killed. You killed, you feminine, remember? Then we have masculine, feminine, third person, till we get katlu, katlu, katlu. So here we have amru, amru. Katlu, they killed. Amru, they spoke. So Amazeh Amru lo et bo et bet Hashem. Lo et bo. Lo is my negative particle. So something has been denied. Et bo. Et means time, you know. We always need to pay attention when you have an aleph or when you have an I, because with an aleph you have the direct object particle, and with an I you have the noun time. Bo, another particle that we need to always be careful. If I have bo, it has something to do with coming in, going in. But if I have ro, then it is related to seeing. Okay, so uh, the psalm, for instance, Adonai roi lo efta. Adonai roi. Adonai is my shepherd. Adonai is my watcher, someone who watches over me. And bo, come in, arrive. So lo et bo, lo et bo means the time has not come. The time has not come. Time for what? Et Beit Hashem. Et Beit Hashem. The time for the house of Hashem, which is the Beit HaMikdash. So these people, Al Mazeh, these people, they're saying that the time for the house of the Lord of Hashem has not come yet. To what happened? To what proposition? Le ibanot, leibanot, leibanot, le to, and bana, to be built. So the scripture is saying that the time for rebuilding the Beit HaMikdash has not come yet. They're not denying that will eventually come, but they're saying not today. Not today. What is the answer for that? What is the answer for that? What is the one of our daily prayers? Ki ba, or ki bo actually, ki bo moed. Ki bo moed. Ki bo moed. Uh, En Eloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kimoshienu. I never know the proper order. En Eloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kemalkeinu, en Kemoshienu. Mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Kemalkeinu, mi Kemoshienu, Node Eloheinu, Node Adonenu, Node de Malkeinu, Node de Moshienu, Baru Eloheinu, Baru Adonenu, Baru Malkeinu, Baru Moshienu, Ata Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Ata Toshienu, Ata Takum Vera Ensio, Kiba Moed, Kiba Moed. That's how he ends. The prayer, the song, Em Eloheinu, ends with Kiba Moed. Kiba Moed. We say Kiba Moed, but the rest of the world say Kibo Moed. Ki, for, because, Ba, or Bo, has come. Moed. Remember Moed. Moadim lesimcha. Appointed times. Moed, appointed times. Remember that Akadosh Baruch Hu has given us mitzvot. Akadosh Baruch Hu has given us the hakim, the hukim. The hakim is actually named edot. Edot are for moadim. Edot hi moadim lesimha leTorah. Appointed times for gladness, for happiness, which are the festivals. So Kiba Moed, for the time has come. This is a daily response in Emunah, faith, Emunah Shalemach, to this proposition. The time has not come. Lo et bo et Beit Hashem. Lo et bo. Lo et bo. The time has not come. And how do we answer? Kiba Moed. For the appointed time, the right time, the proper time has come. That's why we have Enki Volcano every day. And let's think about the last part. Leibanot comes from Bana, to build. After Enki Eloheinu, we have Atahu Adonai Eloheinu. Then we have Tana. I'm thinking about the Sidur in the Shacharit, Shacharit Lehol, Shacharit Shel Shabbat. In the Shacharit, after we sing Enkel Kenu, we have Atahu Adonenu, then we have Tanya, Tanya, Rabbi, ta 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 ta, then which is a sequence from the Talmud, right? And there is one that is proper for this conversation, which is Amar Rabbi Elazar. Amar Rabbi Elazar, or Rabbi Elazar. This is in the Talmud, Masechet Brachot, Samech Dalet, Mishnah Aleph. But naturally, we have this in our Siddur Safad, in Shaharit, Avodat Shaharit Shabbat, Avodat Shaharit Lechol, during the week and on Shabbat as well. On the picture, you have a number of Siddurim from Kohen, which is a really good publisher. This is their 2020 catalog. You see in Hebrew, catalog Tavshin Kaf 2020 catalog. So, Amar Rabbi Elazar, Amar Rabbi Hanina. What did they say? Amar Rabbi Elazar. So, we have the verb, then you have the subject. Amar, he said. Who said something? Rabbi Elazar said something. What did he say? He said, Amar Rabbi Hanina. He said that Rabbi Hanina used to say something. This is how we learn that Rabbi Hanina is a Rishonim. Rabbi Hanina is a Rishonim. He's he's from the first generation. And Rabbi Elazar is a Tanya. He's a Tanya. Is the generation that studied under the Rishonim, the first ones, in the Mishnah. What Rabbi Hanina used to say? He says, Talmidei Hachamim, Talmidei Hachamim, Construct absolute, masculine plural. That's why instead of say talmidim, which is the plural of talmid, we have talmidei hachamim, because hachamim is masculine and plural. So my construct has to follow, has to agree in number, both of them are plural, and gender, both of them are masculine. So, Talmidei Hachamim, the Talmidim of the Hachamim, the pupils, the students of the wise people. Talmidei Hachamim, Mahbim Shalom Ba'olam, Mahbim Shalom Ba'olam. Mahbim means it comes from Rav, right? So it's abundant, it's numerous, it increases. What? Shalom Bolam, the peace in this world. Mahbim Shalom Bolam. Talmidei Chachamim Mahbim Shalom Bolam. The students of the sages, they increase peace in this world. Where do we learn this? We learn this. Sheneamar, as it is said, in Yeshayahu. Yeshayahu. Anavi. Yeshayahu Anavi is Betoch Agedolim, is amongst the great ones, the great Navim, the great prophets. What does Yeshayahu say? V'chol banai. V'chol banai. You see, we have a sign right there. So the stress, it's not in I, it's not banai, it's banai, banai. So v'chol banai limudei Hashem. V'chol banai limudei Hashem. All your banim, we have, because it's yours, so all your banim, your children, limudei Hashem, they are talmidim of Hashem. They are the students of Hashem. Rashi has an important comment here. Rashi says that at the time when they say Limudei Hashem, the students of Hashem, they actually meant the students of the Torah. So the students of Hashem, no, the students of the Torah of Hashem. So the students of the Torah of Hashem, all your children are the students of the Torah of Hashem. V'chol banaich limudei Hashem. And what is the consequence for that? V'rav shalom banaich, v'rav shalom banaich, v'rav shalom banaich. And great peace for your children. And your children have great peace. That's why Rav Hanina says, Talmidei hachamim machbim shalom ba'olam. The pupils, the followers, the students of the sages, they increase the peace in the world. That's absolutely true. Now, Rav Hanina continues. Al techei banai ela bonai. Al, and you know in Aramaic, al means low. So do not, techei comes from kara. Kara, he called, he read. So lo tikrei, do not read banai, do not read your children. Ella, if not, or do not read banai, but instead bonai, your bonai comes from bana, to build. Bonai, you know that when you have oe, sometimes oa is a person who realizes the verb. So Omer is the one who speaks, Shomer is the one who watches, and Bonai, Boneh is the one who bana. So do not read your children, read your builders. So let's try to do it. Shenema, V'chol bonai limudei Hashem v'rav shalom bonai. All your builders are the students of Shem. Then we have two meanings here. In the construction of the wall, in the construction of the wall, we learn from our Tanakh that the builders, the Boneim, they would build with, in one hand, they have their utensils to build the wall, and they had the sword on the other hand to protect the wall. You see? They were building the wall, but at the same time they were protecting the wall with their swords. This is the first understanding. That the people they are building for Hashem, they are bringing peace to the world. And what is the second understanding? The second understanding is that we have a calling, we have a calling to rebuild the temple. We are the Bonaim, the builders. And in order for us to rebuild the temple, the Beit HaMikdash Shlishi, the third temple, then we have to bring peace to this world. We have to live the Yamim Mashiach, the days of the Mashiach, with peace, establishing. Remember in the Talmud, follow peace and establish peace. Follow peace and establish peace. Shalom Rav Leovei Toratecha Vein Lamo Mikshol. Shalom Rav, so much shalom, so much peace. Le Ohavei Toratecha, for those who Ahav, Ahava, for those who love Ohvei Toratecha, Toratecha. Peace be upon, and this is in the Psalms, Tehillim Kof Yad Tet, so 119. Kof Samachet, Shalom Rav Leohvei Torateha. Peace be upon, so much peace for the lovers of your Torah. Ve'en lamo, ve'en lamo, or third person too, so there is none for them. The reason for them, Michshol. Michshol. Michshol is like a stone, but a stone that is that is not in the proper place. A stone in the midst of the way. Remember from the poem. Há uma pedra no meio do caminho. Wow, I'm thinking Hebrew, so I cannot recall the poem in Portuguese. Uma pedra no meio do caminho tem. Wow, I can't recall. Okay, there was a stone in the midst of the path. This is the mikshol, a stone that you can trip over and fall to the ground. So for these builders, and that's why it's so important, because now in the Tehillim say Shalom Rav Leohvei Toratecha Ve'en Lamo Mikshol. There is peace for your children. They are students of Hashem. No, it's not your children, it's your builder. So there is peace, so much peace for the builders of Hashem. And we have this correlation towards peace. But then in the Tehillim, which is another text, it says, Shalom Rav leohavei toratecha ve'en lamo michshol. Well, michshol is a vocabulary for construction. It's a stone that is out of place. And therefore someone may trip over the stone. It is understood as mishappenings, misfortune. There is no misfortune for those who love your Torah. Meaning there is no There is no loosened stone that you may trip over. So you see that the vocabulary here towards construction works in agreement. This is Masechet Brachot, Samech Dalet, Mishnah Aleph. But we have this every day in our Siddur, Siddur Sefer Had, of course, after Enkelokenu. And in Enkelokenu, we answer the second verse of Haggai. What does the second verse of Haggai say? That Am hazeh amru lo et bo et beit Hashem lehibanot. And we answer, Kiba moed, Kiba moed, Kiba moed. For the appointed time has come. Baruch Hashem, I hope everything is clear, and naturally you can rewatch, rehear, and restudy everything that was that was demonstrated here in this. I don't know if it's short. I'm not counting, but I think it's, I don't know how long. But uh, in this class, we will have another session soon, Bernadette. As soon as I can, I will record another session and upload it to YouTube so you can have it. I hope you're all well. I hope you're dealing with everything that is happening amongst us the best way possible, keeping up with our traditions, lighting the candles for Shabbat, having wine for Shabbat, making challah, and protecting each other. Baruch Shem, Shalom, Lehitaot.